Hi everyone, it's Urviska Kalia from ImPerfect. I'm the founder and the counseling psychologist at ImPerfect. In this video, I'm going to talk about the various options that you have to choose from if you're thinking of beginning therapy with me. Now, ImPerfect is my private practice, and as a counseling psychologist, I primarily practice rational emotive behavior therapy or REBT. Now, REBT is an approach that focuses on our attitudes and the evaluations that we make about problems and adversities in our life. And we work on those because they are the cause of our emotional, psychological, and behavioral distress. And therefore, we work on changing the attitudes and evaluations that we make in order to alleviate our emotional, psychological, and behavioral distress. I offer two mediums in order to do that while using the REBT approach. So, one is something called short term but consistent therapy, and the second one is something called single session therapy. Now, the first one, if you choose to opt for the short term but consistent therapy, what that is it's similar to what we generally understand when we talk about therapy, right? So, it's a few sessions that you have with a therapist, and usually, if you're in consistent therapy, the duration of therapy can last from just a few sessions to many sessions that could go over few weeks to a few years even, right? So if you choose to go for short term but consistent therapy with me, and if we're using REBT, since REBT is a short term approach, therapy with me would probably last for approximately 8 to 12 sessions. However, this may vary individually and can be jointly discussed by me as a therapist and you as the client, depending upon your unique client concerns. At the end of the day, you're truly the expert and of your life and can decide how long or short you wish to engage in therapy with me. If you go for single session therapy, which is the second option that you have, again, it's informed by the REBT perspective or approach. But we also refer to single session therapy as one at a time therapy or intermittent therapy across the lifespan. Now, as per its name, it's not exactly that. It's not simply limited to one single session. It does not mean that you can't ever return to therapy if you require further assistance. What it does mean is that the therapist and the client jointly work on a particular focused problem and try to find a solution for it, which the client can then use to really solve that problem in their life. Now, if we can be focused, we could find a solution to a specific problem in a single session. The reason that this mindset is actually really helpful to clients in therapy is because research has shown that the length of therapy expands in accordance with the expectation set. So, if I would tell a client that you're going to be with me for, say, 24 sessions, they'd probably expect therapy to last for 24 sessions. Whereas if I tell a client, you know what, 4 sessions would be enough, they'd probably have way fewer sessions than the other client. So, if you're expecting to be helped in a single session, that is possible to achieve. Now, also, it's important to come in with realistic expectations because this is obviously not magic. And therefore, expecting to cure everything and anything in one session would be unrealistic. And therefore, it's really important to have a focused elected problem that we work on to find a solution to in order to get your desired goals. If you wish to read more about both these approaches, please go on to my website and read about them there. With single session therapy, I just wanted to mention that further help is required if and when is available if and when required. You can continue to have more sessions at different points in time. And you may even, after having a single session, choose to transition into consistent therapy if you feel like there's more long term things that you'd want to work on in a consistent way. Now, if you think about it, this mindset is very similar to the one that you'd have when you go to visit any doctor. You visit them when you're unwell. Once they've given you medication and you found a solution to your problem, you're feeling much better, you stop going, and then you'd go again when you require their assistance again, when you're not feeling well again. So the only difference between going to a doctor and single session therapy is that you're an active participant who will be highly engaged during the session and will be very much responsible for the progress. In addition to these two options, I also provide group therapy, and I'm going to do a separate video on group therapy to explain what groups we have running and how that would work. Take care and stay safe.